got another war at the shore. It's the $3.7 million Borgata Poker Classic here on the World Poker Tour.
The World Poker Tour is a series of 17 international poker tournaments featuring the biggest games, the greatest players, and the largest payouts on the planet. In Atlantic City, 6 players, $3.7 million. It's a multi-million-dollar battle on the boardwalk here on the World Poker Tour.
Hi everyone, welcome to the World Poker Tour. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten, and we are back in Atlantic City for the inaugural Borgata Poker Classic.
Well, Mike, it is good to be back at the glamorous Borgata in Atlantic City. You know, if you ask most of the players, what do you think of Borgata? They wouldn't say they just like the place. They would say they love it. I mean, what's not to love? It is incredible here, and that's why we had to have a second event. But let's talk about the players. 381 players all put up a cool $10,000 each to make a total prize pool of about $3.7 million, and the winner is going to take home a very life-changing, close to $1.2 million.
Vince, that's not life-changing money. That is address-changing money.
That's right, Mike. Okay, the Borgata Poker Classic, I think, is destined to become an instant classic. Okay, let's move over to 6th chip position, Amnon Felipe. They call him Guts. That's right, Guts has $820,000. He's from New York City. Let's see if he'll do it. Moving over to 5th chip position is Stuart Patterson. He is from Boca Raton, Florida, and you know what? He's got $1,060,000 worth of chips, and he's got some family in Scotland rooting him home, so he's got men in skirts rooting for him tonight.
Oh boy. Starting out in 4th chip position tonight with $1.3 million in chips is John D'Agostino from Egg Harbor, New Jersey. J Dags, as they call him, is a 23-year-old poker pro. He's making his 3rd final table appearance on the World Poker Tour tonight. Let's see if he can capture that first WPT title. In 3rd chip position tonight with $1.6 million in chips is an amateur player, Josh Spiegelman, out of Secaucus, New Jersey. He got into this tournament by winning a satellite, and if Lady Luck continues to shine on Josh, he could go to the winner's circle.
Okay, moving over to 2nd chip position, we've seen this young superstar on the World Poker Tour numerous times, even last week finishing 2nd. Michael the Grinder Mizrachi, he is back. He's amazing. This guy can really play. Disregard the grinder thing. He doesn't grind at the poker table. This guy crushes.
I'll tell you one thing, he grinds out the cash here on the World Poker Tour. No doubt about that. As does our chip leader tonight, Eric E-Dog Lindgren, a former 2-time winner on the World Poker Tour, former WPT Player of the Year. He's starting out with $2.6 million tonight at this final table. And Vince, if he wins here, he'll tie Gus Hansen as the winningest player out on the World Poker Tour with 3 wins. With his chip count, I give E-Dog a great shot to do it tonight.
Just incredible. 6 players at the Borgata Poker Classic. Let's go down to the felt.
We're here at the Borgata Poker Classic. Let's shuffle up and deal.
Well, the First Lady of Poker, Linda Johnson, gives us those famous words, shuffle up and deal.
Let's talk about the structure a little bit. The antes will be $3,000 each. The blinds are going to be $15,000 and $30,000.
The first action is going to be on Eric Lindgren. Looks down a Queen 4 offsuit and folds.
Now the grinder with an 8-7 of hearts, a suited connector.
I hate this.
Look at this. He caps his cards.
Well, here we go, Vince. He's going to attack on hand number 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he's the grinder. Makes it $85,000 to go.
Dags goes out with King 5. Josh Spiegelman goes out as well. And now Amnon Felipe with a wired pair of 3s says, I'm going to call it.
Well, with small pairs, you like to see flops. Try to hit a set where you might bust somebody.
But Stuart Patterson has ace-10.
Well, it looks like he's getting out chips also, Vince.
Yeah.
He's got $30,000 out there, cost him $55,000 more to call. As you can see, Stuart was in an accident at 17 years old, was paralyzed, but doesn't stop him from playing poker.
Yep.
Poker professional for 3 years now. He's got ace-10 versus a pair of 3s up against the grinders 8-7 of hearts on the very first hand.
Here comes a flop. Flop is King Queen 8 with 2 spades. Amnon checks. Stuart checks.
The grinder picks up a pair of 8s, but he checks as well.
Well, he checks bottom pair here.
Free round. There's the turn. It's a 4 of hearts.
Well, this gives the grinder a flush draw to go along with his 2 8s. Amnon checks. And look at this. Stuart Patterson is reaching for chips, Vince. He only has ace high, but everybody checked on the flop. He's going to make a stab at this pot right now.
It does appear to be that.
See how much he's going to bet here. Yeah, looks like he's pushing out 110,000.
Right into the grinder, who has a 4 flush and a pair of 8s.
I think it's 110.
He's got some type of hand and a drawing hand, Vince. See how he plays it. He does call the 110,000.
And Amnon with the pair of 3s goes away. So going into the river, Stewart taking a shot here. He would love to hit the inside straight.
Well, an ace or a 10 would also give him the lead here. But let's see what happens. Comes the river card to 7 of spade.
Oh, boy.
The grinder has made 2 pair.
Stewart hitting absolutely nothing.
But Vince, look at this. He is reaching for chips here. He doesn't care that the grinder's a star on the tour, that he finished second last week, that he's a former WPT champion. Stuart Patterson's going for chips here, and he is betting.
Yeah,
135,000.
27-year-old betting with absolute zip and pip here. Into the grinder.
Well, the grinder's made 2 pair. I'd be shocked if he would lay this down. And he does make the call. So Stewart is not going to like it. But Vince, give the guy credit. Notice what happens if the grinder doesn't make 2 pair on the river.
Yeah, he goes out.
He's going to have a very tough call to make with just 2 8s in that spot, and I believe he was giving the hand up. So
you got to give a lot of credit to Stuart Patterson. Started playing online 5 years ago. He's a professional poker player for 3 years. Nice try on the very first pot, but it's all about the grinder right now, taking his first pot. And we saw the grinder finish second last week at Tunica, and the rush looks like it is continuing.
Well, Vince, we've sure got a lot of great stories at this table. Eric Klingerman going for his 3rd WPT title. That would tie him with Gus Hansen as the winningest player ever on the World Poker Tour. The grinder going for his 2nd title. Finished second a week ago, back at the final table again tonight. Everybody else trying to grab their first, make their name on the World Poker Tour.
Action on Amnon. He folds an ace-7. Stewart folding 8-5.
Make it 120.
Round to Eric. He's got king, queen of spade. Going to make it 120,000 to go.
Grinder going out with 8-3. D'Agostino quickly out.
Now round to the amateur, Josh Spiegelman.
Call.
He's got ace-10. He's going to make the call here.
What's the total?
90 more thousand to call.
Well, he's an amateur player. Has a real job. Human resources consultant. And he's only been playing poker for 2 years. Let's see if he gets lucky here.
Flop comes Jack, 6 deuce with 2 diamonds. Action is on Josh.
Flop helped neither player.
Now, Eric Klingerman's been watching this guy for a couple of days now. He's known as a super tight player. He checks here, and Eric checks right behind him. A little surprised that Eric wouldn't take a stab at that pot, but
well, he gives a little respect to the amateur player. There's the turn. It's a 3 helping neither player. And now once again on Josh Spiegelman.
oh, look at this, Vince. He just has ace high. He's reaching for chips here. He says, E-Dog, you might be former WPT player of the year, my friend, but I'm sitting here at this final table, and I'm betting 125,000.
Nice bet.
Now, Eric's going to have to lay it down here.
Yes, he is.
Now, even though Josh had the best hand with ace high there, still, nice play by him to bet on the turn.
Well, he's an interesting guy. There's a quote about him. He says, I'm just a regular guy who wants to play poker with the best in the world. And he's doing that here tonight and doing it well.
You can enjoy playing basketball and get to play Michael Jordan. He has no chance. In poker, you can beat the best player in the world. A regular guy like me who has a corporate job can win a satellite, and here I am at the final table.
Josh Spiegelman, nicely done. 45 years old. He's a human resources consultant and a math expert.
Vince, he can put that math to good use here. He got into this turn for a $1,000 satellite. He could cash out over $1.1 million.
All right, action on the grinder.
He's got the suited connectors again. 9-8 of clubs this time.
And he has raised up to 87,000 with it. D'Agostino out. Josh out with queen 3.
Over to Amnon. He lays his hand down.
And now Stuart Patterson with Dolly Parton 9-5. Can't play it. And look at this Eric with king 10 in the big blind. He's going to bump it up.
Well, folks, you're getting a glimpse of why he's a former WPT player of the year. Not very many people would raise it out of the big blind with king 10. Well, the grinder now has to make a decision. He's got position on Eric. which is the best seat he could be at this table, I believe, sitting behind the chip leader, the most experienced player at the table.
He's got a tempting hand, 9, 8 of clubs.
But do you want to get involved with him on this hand or wait for a better spot? That's the question. And he's getting out his chips. Want to see how many he has left if he makes this call. He's going to have plenty left.
Well, we've seen him play before. He is a fearless player.
Well, I like this laydown, Vince, and I say that because why not wait for a better spot to get your money in against E-Dog?
That is right.
But give credit to E-Dog there, Vince, coming over the top of King 10 offsuit. Folks, not many players would do that in that situation.
Well, we are watching superstars on the Jersey Shore. One of these players is going to take home close to $1.2 million. We're coming right back here on the World Poker Tour.
Right now, my biggest problem is probably Eric Lindgren because he's got a little more chips than I. I heard yesterday in one of the interviews that he wanted to play me heads up, get back for me for last year. That's fine. We'll see what happens, Eric.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, the Borgata Poker Classic. I'm Vince Van Patten alongside Mike Sexton.
Right now, our current chip leader is 29-year-old poker superstar, former two-time winner on the WPT, Eric Lindgren. He's got over 3.1 million in chips, and the action's going to be on him right now.
Chip leader looks down at a 5-4 offsuit.
Lays it down. Now the grinder in second chip position with about 2.4 million in chips. He's got the ace-9 offsuit, and he's reaching for chips, Vince.
Yes,
So he is going to raise it.
There he goes. Makes it 87,000 to go. Johnny Dags with the Fu Manchu look. He goes out with 10-9.
The amateur Josh Spiegelman folding.
And now Amnon Felipe with King-Queen says he's going to make this call. Stewart out with his 10 deuce, so two-way action here, Mike.
So here we go. Flop is ace, king, 5. The grinder's flop top pair. Amnon is flop second pair and checks. And the grinder checks his 2 aces. That surprised me a little.
He's giving Amnon some respect there. There's a jack on the turn.
Go ahead.
Well, Amnon with his 2 kings and queen kicker. Checking again. Now the grinder's going to bet this time. Amnon with the 2 kings and the straight draw is going to make the call for 100,000.
Almost beat him in the pot there.
So off to the river we go. The grinder out front with the 2 aces. A queen comes, giving Amnon 2 pair and the best hand, but there's a 4-card straight out there. Neither player liking to see that. It goes check, check. Watch the grinder wins here at that river card.
Well, you got to spread the wealth around a little bit, and that's what we just did. Amnon Felipe from New York City. He's taking his first pot here tonight.
Well, when mom's in the house, you got to play your best, Vince.
My mother has taught to me a sense on how to read people. Reading people at the table is probably the most important thing, even more than cards and even more than your chip size. If I win today, I will dedicate this win to my mother and everything she's taught me.
Well, Amnon hoping to make a big name for himself on the World Poker Tour tonight. He takes his title down. He can well do that.
Nice hand for the man they call Guts. But the action is going to be on the amateur player at the table, Josh Spiegelman.
Well, he looks down at ace-9 of diamonds.
87.
So far, we've seen him play every ace-9 and ace-10 he's been dealt. This is going to be no exception. He's going to raise it. Makes it 87,000 to go.
Amnon quickly out, and now Stuart Patterson with 10-7. He goes out.
I'm just folding it.
Around to Eric Lindgren with the button. He's got queen on our hearts. He says, I'm going to call it.
He said, I've got the chip lead. I've got position here. I'm going to make the call with the queen 9 of hearts.
Grinder goes away with jack 4.
And D'Agostino throws away a jack 7 offsuit.
So Eric with queen 9 of hearts. Josh Spiegelman with ace-9 of diamonds. Here's the flop.
Oh, what a flop. Both players flopped a gut shot straight draw, but Josh